so confused. You feel like you're more fucked up than the lies on the evening news. But just step right in. We can talk about it all as friends. And if you want, we can hug and kiss and make up for the party ends. Agree or disagree, stop offering me. 'Cause I'm everything you want, damn sure what you need. I won't tell no lies, back up on the facts with truth. And if you can't get down with that, you must be somebody's dude.
Hey, Hog Twins here. Check out our friend Matthew Spirit at his podcast at the DUM Show and his website. Yeah, don'tunfriendme.com. Yeah.
Good morning, Don't Unfriend Me Nation. What are we?
Hi, Matt.
It's Red Friday. RED Friday, which stands for Remember Everyone Deployed. A movement designed to honor veterans and deployed U.S. troops by wearing a red shirt every Friday. As simple as that may be, Red Friday is a great way to back those who serve our country. Go to DUMShow.com and search for Red Friday to get your red on.
Tonight's show is brought to you by Percival Flag Company. Percival flags make the greatest flags known to man. They are all made out of wood. They are made in the United States of America and by two very, very cool people, Katie and Jason. Stop by and see pfcflags.com. Tonight we have in the house Amy, Matthew, and Olivia. Olivia Spear in the house. Olivia? Hey! Amy Robinson is here. Hair all but
I had to find the button.
That's the wrong button. That's Leroy.
No, okay.
Come on.
There it is.
Finally, Amy has her hair all did. Amy got all dressed up while we look all disheveled and
It's been a long week.
And,
I've been disheveled all week, so I felt like I should do my hair and makeup this evening because I didn't shower until like noon today. Okay.
Hot. Some people pay good money for that. Amy, it's good to see you. Welcome to the show. Good to have you here. Amy Robinson, everybody.
And you're like, holy cannoli. Oh, mother of God.
Some people are in Sturgis right now, South Dakota, leaving in the morning. Awesome. Did Antifa ever show up to Sturgis? That would have been so... I would have paid to see that. Like that would be almost as good as the Zuckerberg and Elon Musk fight.
Yeah.
Have you heard about that?
Are they actually going to do it?
They're going to fight. Yeah. They're going to fight. Daniel LaRusso's going to fight. Daniel LaRusso's going to fight.
Definitely
From
gonna watch
Miyagi-Do karate, because Miyagi used that wizard witchcraft black magic voodoo crap to get Daniel to be able to fight again when he was already down. Come on. Like that was fair. That wizard Miyagi. Have you guys seen that? Have you seen it though?
It's hilarious.
Have you seen the video that shows? But by the way, Olivia, you're I'm just like falling all over myself looking at you. Your new lens is fantastic, man. Is that crisp?
Really is.
I mean, you look good.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, not as good
I
as.
actually have to put makeup on every night now because you can see
No, the lens
everything.
does wonders. But yeah, so Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg are going to do a fight for charity. That's the thing. But Musk has to go and get an MRI for his back and his neck, and he may not be clarified from the physical to actually go. So now they're saying they might do a debate or something. Who knows? Who cares? I would love to see a fight. I would love to see Mark Zuckerberg get ground pounded, honestly. Teeth in the curb, the whole works. No offense. I know I'm on your platform, Zuck, but you still are downranking me, especially on my live show. So thanks. But anyway.
You've
Little
got to
bit.
introduce
He
yourself.
trains, right? In MMA, doesn't he?
They both do. Zuck's been doing it for like 2 years, and he really hasn't fought anybody in his weight class. It's all underclass and whatever. I mean, he's yoked. Looks like he's got some good physical fitness. I don't know what his cardio is, but it doesn't matter. When you've got a guy that size, you got Elon Musk who outweighs him by 40 pounds and has the reach and has the height on him. Just one good shot's going to do it. Zuck can do everything he wants, but if Elon just trains and strike, and that's all he focuses on, is one good connective shot on the jaw, Zuck's going down like a bag of potatoes. Amy, where'd you go?
No, it's gonna.
Some bitch.
It's gonna be that day, isn't it?
Amy.
Oh, Amy.
Amy. We lost Amy.
Uh-oh.
Oh man, that's not good.
Call back, Amy.
All right, I got to punt her.
Amy.
Well, she needs to be here for the intro, so we can't do that. There she is. Hold on.
Chris is like mother of pearl.
Uh-oh, here we go. Hold on, let's see if we can get her on here. Amy, there we are. So anyway, Zuck and Zuck's he's been doing. I know for a fact that Elon has been trained in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and a couple of other things and Krav Maga or whatever in South Africa, and he's got some pictures of it. And Zuck has been. I think Zuck's doing Jiu-Jitsu, and he's.
I would pay to see that fight.
He's a blue belt or something. Who knows? Who cares? I just want to see. I think. If the fight goes on for a long time, it benefits Zuck because Zuck's going to be in better shape. If this is going to be a 6-month thing to a year away, well, I got to give it to Elon because as long as Elon gets in shape, and I think he's downplaying it. He's kind of like, I just lift weights while I work, and I'm not going to do any special training. And Zuck's like, training, I'm ready now. It's like, okay, ease yourself, Zuck. Come on, dude. Just because you're 6-7% body fat doesn't mean you're going to be able to drop him. But anyway, we'll see what happens. I'll throw money into that. There's a couple people I'd like to fight. I'd fight for charity. Cenk Uyghur. I would love to fight Cenk Uyghur. Oh, it would just be the easiest fight in the world. Amy, come on, sister. She just disappeared.
Oh my goodness.
I'm gonna go yell at my kids. I need to go yell at my kids to turn off their freaking tablets. So
okay, because your phone went black. Okay, go. Or your picture. Go, get out of here. Go do your thing. So yeah, Cenk Uyghur. I'd just throw him a Big Mac, and I'd put a Big Mac over to his left, and then put a chocolate shake on the right. And then when he was just completely perplexed at which one he was going to go for, I would just kick him in the vagina.
Just play the results of the 2016 election. He'll go down crying.
Oh, exactly. I'll just be like, Hillary Clinton lost. And he'll just be like, just completely melt down. Yeah, that'd be an awesome fight. Who else?
We need to put her in the freaking intro because she's always on the show.
Yeah, I know. Who would you fight?
Me?
Yeah, if you could fight anybody, who would you want to fight? Come on, this should be easy for you.
Oh,
she called you a deplorable and said you couldn't think for yourself.
That'd be too easy.
Sorry.
Whatever. I don't care about easiness. You wouldn't want to fight Hillary Clinton? No, I would fight Hillary Clinton.
I've never thought
I wouldn't.
about fighting.
I want to die.
That's a good point. I don't want to go suicide myself.
Amy, who would you fight? We had a celebrity death match. Who would it be?
I don't know, like some hot guy. I feel like. I don't know.
Like, so you can just yeah. Oh, stop it. Stop. Oh no, he's grounding and pounding me. What do I do? I like it. It's a good tactic. It's a win-win.
Oh goodness.
You know what? I want to change my answer because Cenk Uyghur. I mean, that's just tough. That guy. I mean, if he got a hold of you, he's like my uncle. You'd die. If he got a hold of you, he would. Not so much me because I'm a big dude. And I just don't. Other big dudes. I mean, we're burly guys, and I just don't know what that would look like. But I'll tell you what, he doesn't have cardio. And after the first 15 or 20 seconds of him going with those little T-Rex arms, he's going to be gassed.
I take that back. I would totally want to fight Joy Behar.
Ooh, that would be a good fight.
She'd go down on the.
She'd be like, "Listen here, you can't believe you're doing that, you stupid." Yeah. Just done.
That's a good one.
Done.
Whoopi might be a good one too. We'll take.
Whoopi's got weight.
Yeah.
No, she's got weight.
Whoopi can.
I know, but if Olivia and I took on all of The View, I think we could do it.
Yes, we could.
I would worry about Whoopi. I think Whoopi can scrap. I think she's got crazy in her very much. You know, Joy Behar would just be like, she would just bitch you to death, you know? But Whoopi, I think Whoopi could scrap. I think Whoopi, I mean, not for very long. She's like, she would just roll on you, kind of like Stacey Abrams. But you know who I'd want to fight? I want to fight Bill Gates.
Oh, that's a good one too.
Yeah, when Bill Gates comes out and he's like my Windows 90, Windows 85, 95, whatever, and he runs out of the stage. He's like, yay, at his conference, and he runs out like a flipping pink flamingo.
Throwing $1,000 bills at you to make you stop.
Drill him right in the. He can put $1,000 bills anywhere he wants.
I feel like I would just like arm wrestle Joe Biden. I feel like
Jill or Joe?
Joe. No, Jill.
Oh, you would crush Joe.
Yeah,
You would crush Joe, dude. He'd just be like,
yeah. I just have to wear a ponytail that day so he can't smell my hair.
Right, he would sniff your hair when you go in for the lean. When you go in for the takedown, he would be like,
would Nancy Pelosi be too old? Somebody just asked. I'd take a hammer to that fight.
Oh, I'd take a hammer. That's funny. You need a rim shot for that. You can't make a joke like that without a rim shot.
That's a good one.
I mean, no, the rim shot, Liv. Come on.
Oh, are you serious?
Well, that was some weird shit.
What's wrong with you? You don't
It
have a rim?
won't work.
Well, why won't it work?
I don't know.
Oh, it fried. You got to undo it and put it back in. Just undo it. Undo the deck. Because when the freaking Microsoft did its sound or the Facebook notification, it pinged off. So it does that. It went, and once I hear that, you know it's gone.
Okay, well that's working there.
All right. Do you have a rim shot?
I do.
I just put it on. It's too late.
My soundboard's not working.
So we've got our celebrity. Now, who would Leroy fight? Oh, I know.
Joe Rogan.
No. That fight would last. That fight wouldn't even get started.
Right.
Leroy wouldn't even show up.
Yeah, Joe Rogan would just kick him.
No. Joe Rogan would just be like, really? And Leroy would be like, no, I'm not going to. Dude, if he kicked Leroy's bones would excavate his body and he would just be a giant lump of blob.
Fauci or Obama?
I think he would fight like Jordan Peterson or somebody like that just for fun.
That's what I was going to say is like I would make him fight his idol. So like he would have to fight Jordan Peterson, just be like, I'm sorry. Oh, God. I would have him fight Jordan Peterson. This is what happens when you don't show up for a month to the show. We're going to talk shit about you, Leroy, every night. Loser.
Yeah, Leroy.
Loser.
Yeah.
A loser.
So different show tonight. A little bit different. And I don't know why I decided to do this. As
it
if.
Works now. There we go.
Well, that's because I told you how to fix it. So I don't know why we're going to change some things up, but not horribly. I want to. The show needs to evolve into not always just being so negative and just destroying the left. I mean, it's really. It's not unproductive because it's certainly fun. It's like what we were talking about with these fights. It's a good time. I mean, it's a good time will be had by all. I had all the cards on my dick this summer, and they all had a good time. So, did you watch that with us, Amy? The Big Brown Dick?
No,
we showed it on.
Oh,
it was really good.
So funny. Just go on YouTube after.
Yeah.
It's the Big Brown Dick, and it's basically a guy from New Zealand who can't actually say dick properly. And you know the dick where you go out and sun yourself and you wash your dick when it gets dirty.
Oh yeah.
The dick. You know, you go out in your patio and your dick, and you just go ahead and soak up the sun. Yeah. Mike really loves my dick. His wife's on it all the time and says what a great place it is.
It's like
so anyway, he does.
What's the oh my gosh, it's like Laird the Cable Guy and all the guys they have like their deck stash, you know, we're talking about their decks.
Yeah, they'll have a word that basically sounds like something that it's not, and this guy basically does. You know, all the cards in the neighborhood played on my dick this summer, and they all had a good time. And you're just like, I sent my secretary dick pics. Sharon loves when I send my dick pics. And it's
the looks he gives the camera.
Yeah, and it's Schaefer's deck. It's Schaefer's deck sealant from New Zealand, but it's actually Schaefer's dick sealant.
Apparently, it's a real company, and
right?
That's their commercial.
And then they sell. You know, last summer my dick had got fuxed. So it had a crack in it, and I fuxed it with some cock. So he sells Cock. You know, cocking. And he's like, if you've got a really big hole, you can use African-style cock. It's horrible. It's so racist.
Funny.
It's racist. It's sexist. It's horrible, but it's very, very funny. I mean, you just got to, I mean, it's one of those things you got to watch it. So, see, everyone's like, oh, the language. I'm not saying that's your mind. We're talking about Dex and cock. You're talking about something completely different. So, anyway, we were talking about what? We were talking about Karate Kid, right?
Yes.
And it's like, Daniel LaRusso's going to fight. We're going to show you why the Karate Kid is evil. And I can't believe I haven't. And just a little humor before we get started. And why Daniel LaRusso is evil.
No.
That's so funny.
It is, and it's. This is basically like. This is essentially. The best way to describe it is like what the left does with media. Let me see if I can find this, and I got to give this guy credit. So you go to him. Okay, so this guy is
Meet your next
J.
pillow.
Matthew Turner,
Why do we make our pillow?
and he made this. He's got 70,000 subscribers. A whole bunch of people have seen it, and I want to give him credit. So you got to watch it. Here it is.
Story of Daniel, a violent.
All right, here it is. If you haven't seen this, this is fantastic. Just to whet your appetite. Here it is.
The Karate Kid is the story of Daniel, a violent sociopath who moves to a California town and begins tormenting a local boy and his friends. Johnny is a high school senior with a commitment to atone for past mistakes and move his life forward in a positive direction.
So, ex-degenerate, man. 8 a.m. tomorrow, I'm a senior. I've got 1 year to make it all work. And that's what I'm gonna do. Make it work.
They are destined to meet when Daniel's neighbor invites him to a beach party where he becomes instantly obsessed with Johnny's newly ex-girlfriend, Allie.
And I.
After a courtship ritual consisting solely of creepy, unbroken eye contact, he approaches her, only to be summarily rebuffed. Johnny arrives to patch things up with Allie, but the discussion becomes heated.
Well, I want to talk to you, all right?
Now, I want to be clear about this. What Johnny is doing is not okay, and he should respect her wish to be left alone. Johnny is, in the end, a flawed hero. But one thing he is definitely not doing is getting violent. Daniel, however, seeing an opportunity to insert himself into Allie's life, chooses to escalate the situation, demanding the return of Allie's radio. Frustrated and heartbroken, Johnny complies with Daniel's request, and in the heat of the moment, pushes him down. Daniel now has the radio, and Allie is still in no danger. Nevertheless, he attacks Johnny, who merely steps aside, allowing Daniel to knock himself to the ground twice.
I didn't do anything.
But when Daniel refuses to let it go, Johnny must use force to end this violent outburst, for the safety of everyone present. So what is Daniel's response to Johnny's non-aggression? Pow! A sucker punch right to the mouth. Johnny defends himself, as is his legal right, and then de-escalates the situation by leaving the scene entirely. The next day in school, Daniel trips while playing sport ball. Rather than accepting that occasional bumps and bruises will happen during playtime, Daniel instead externalizes the blame onto Johnny's friend Bobby and proceeds to ground and pound him, MMA style. A few days later, Daniel attempts to enroll at a karate school, obviously intending to up his game so he can get revenge on Johnny. Put it this way, how would you feel if someone picked a fight with you, lost, and then went out the next day and bought a gun? Well, that's exactly how Johnny feels when Daniel shows up at Cobra Kai, so he decides to send a message. Your violence will not be tolerated, because Johnny knows what can happen when you teach karate to a person with a bad attitude. Months go by, and
you guys, this is satire. Relax. People are like, why are they doing this to Daniel? This is so unfair. Mr. Miyagi, it's a joke. It's what the left does. I'll make it make sense. Just watch.
No one bothers anyone. Clearly, this conflict is over. Until Daniel, unprovoked and for absolutely no reason, drenches Johnny with water in the middle of a school function, ruining his night. To add irony to injury, Johnny was at that very moment sparking up a J, which is just about the least violent thing you can do.
Weasel snagged the bee. All
right.
But I digress. Daniel has crossed the line this time, and he knows it. After causing a multi-car collision, he flees into the night. There is no telling what further damage this unbalanced and violent individual will do, and once again, it falls on Johnny to contain Daniel's fury. After local busybody, karate master, and child batterer Mr. Miyagi intervenes, Daniel convinces him that this is somehow all Johnny's fault. So they go to Johnny's sacred place, the Cobra Kai studio. and challenge him to yet another fight. Johnny accepts the challenge and even agrees to refrain from defending himself against any more of Daniel's unprovoked aggression until the match.
No one touches the prima donna until the tournament.
Daniel, of course, sees this as a license to continue to harass Johnny in public with impunity.
Alright, watch this. Hey guys, how you doing? It's good to see you. Hey, sorry about the eye there, Johnny. Shoulder okay, Tommy? You guys be careful not to go stepping in front of any more buses now, alright?
The day of the tournament arrives. Johnny is there, defending his title. Daniel, meanwhile, is a danger to himself and others as he doesn't even know the basic rules of engagement.
Alright, what are the rules here? Oh no!
To no one's surprise, Johnny advances to the final round, and karma catches up with Daniel when his leg is injured by the boy he wantonly attacked on the soccer field. However, just as Johnny is about to be awarded his trophy, Daniel is granted unnatural strength by the demon sorcerer Miyagi, enabling him to defeat Johnny and win the tournament in an upset. Ever mindful of good sportsmanship, Johnny lets go of his sadness at losing, subjugates his ego, and personally presents Daniel with his tainted blood trophy. May you choke on it in your wet dreams, you rotten little prick. Thanks for watching. Please click like and hit subscribe if you'd like.
Folks,
that's awesome.
And that's perfect. I mean, this is what tonight, and it's amazing how I didn't plan that. The whole conversation just went around, and I'm like, this would be a great segue into our new show. Ask Olivia. We didn't talk about this. Amy, we didn't talk about this.
No idea.
But this would be an absolute strong segue into the show because we're talking about perception and how this show is going to kind of change a little bit. And I always bring you my perspective, and it tends to be in the middle. And I'm a conservative. I'm a Republican. I get that. And I definitely lean that way. And I hit the liberals hard, but they're also in office. And people remember when the show first started, I hit Donald Trump quite a bit in the last 6 months in his presidency. I was very, very critical of him and the election and everything else. And I felt he wasn't doing enough. He dropped the ball when it came to COVID reaction, and he could have showed a little bit of more of a compassionate side, which would have gained him the female vote, and ultimately why he lost the female vote. I honestly never tell you how I get to the center. So I'm going to show you, and we're going to do this every night until we start gaining some traction on the way we think and the way we process stuff. And that's everybody. Not just, I need to work on it too. We all need to. So we're going to talk about the FBI and the shooting in Utah and some of the stuff that's coming out of that. We're going to dive into a Massachusetts couple that we're looking to apply for foster care and give you both sides, left and right. I've got some articles from both sides you can see. It's even labeled for you, the left and the right, just in case you don't know which way we're coming from. Olivia, myself, and Amy have read both sides of the articles. We've got some opinions. I think Amy did. Amy, did you do your homework?
I didn't finish it. I'm not gonna lie. I'm a slow reader.
So Amy didn't do her homework, so she's gonna make it up. So she'll represent the left and make everything up. I'm kidding, Amy. I love.
I can do the left. I'll be the left.
No, but this is the way it's going to be from now on. We need to prepare a little bit before the show, and the hosts. You take 20 minutes and read a couple of articles and identify.
Okay, now you're just being mean. I had 20 minutes and I didn't finish.
Okay, so we're going to do 30 minutes. We're gonna take 7 to 8 hours and make sure. All right, so then we're going to do Hunter Biden and the special counsel. I think everybody's going to be able to. Are we taking calls? Yeah, we're taking calls. Does somebody want to call in?
No, Maureen wanted to know to advertise the things. So she always asks me to make sure it's okay.
Advertise what?
To put the link on.
Oh, yeah. I mean, if somebody wants to call in right away, that's fine and chime in. But let's let us get this started. So first things first is everyone had a chance to hear that Craig DeLue, I think is how you say his name. Some weird DeLue Robertson from Utah. Obviously was shot by the FBI, and not allegedly. They did a home raid at very early hours, 6 a.m., which if somebody stamped my door at 6 a.m., I'm pulling gun. I'm just letting everybody know here. I'm not a threat to myself or anyone else, but if somebody kicks in my door at 6 a.m., I'm coming downstairs and I'm drawing target on whatever's coming up. And I'm simply going to drop position. I'm going to poke around that corner, and I'm going to sit there. And if I hear FBI, I'm going to say, I'm armed, I'm dropping my weapon, and that's fine. Or police. And I get visual on them. The problem is, if I get visual on them, they got visual on me. And those guys are rocking MP5s. They're rocking shotties, and they're ready to party. And before I have to hope that before I see them, before they see me, that they acknowledge that. Now, that's me taking the side of just a homeowner. Amy, you're in your house at 6 a.m. Jason's away. How do you react?
Yeah, I'm calling 911, and I have my gun at the ready, 100%.
Okay.
And I'll just tell you, I had to call 911 over the weekend. And I know that's a good. It's not a good story, actually. It's a horrifying story. But I don't do well. I found out that I don't do well in emergency situations. So I'm not the person you want to have a gun. I'm probably going to be a little erratic. So yeah, I'm going to be super like. I'm not someone you want to have your back. I'm going to react before I think. And
right. And who wouldn't?
So yeah, if you're coming to my house,
So you're going to react that way. Olivia, what would you do? I mean, and this is good because Olivia's not, I've trained her and showed her what to do, but it's interesting to hear what your reaction be. 6 a.m., I'm on a flight. You hear door kicked in.
Well, the alarm's going to go off.
Yeah,
and
I know.
It's going to scare the hell out of me. That's the first thing I'm going to do. And I'm going to grab the gun on the side of the bed, and then I'm going to check Vivint to see what's up. That's the first thing I'm going to do. Yeah. Because it tells us what trigger was.
You're going to have seconds though, right? You're going to have seconds because they're going to know where you're at. They've done intel. They know where our room is. They have the blueprints to our house. They know which rooms they're going to clear. It's 6 a.m. They know where you are. You're in bed. So are you going to grab the gun?
Yeah. I would assume it's the alarm's going off. Well, to be honest, we've had so many false freaking alarms that I would probably check Vivint first to make sure. Okay. And then if I saw someone in the house, I'd go for the gun. Yeah,
see, I'm gun every time. And that's going to be me. I'm going for gun. That's what I've been trained to do. That's what I know how to do. That's muscle memory. That's just what's going to happen. So pretty much all of us either go for gun or go for a phone or don't go, what in the dickens is going on here? What's going on? So, okay, so we can give you that perspective. Let's watch the video and kind of see what's being said, because this will give you a perspective that is just kind of set up from ABC. Here it is.
The FBI says a Utah man was fatally shot as agents tried to arrest him in connection with threats against President Biden and other Democrats. The criminal complaint listing his alleged violent social media posts and online suggestions that he planned to take action. The FBI moving to arrest him just hours before the president arrives in Utah. Here's ABC's Mola Lenghi.
Tonight, just hours before President Biden's arrival in Utah, the FBI says a Provo man was fatally shot as agents tried to arrest him for threatening to assassinate the president. Authorities say 75-year-old Craig Robertson made credible threats, posting to social media just 3 days ago. I hear Biden is coming to Utah, digging out my old ghillie suit and cleaning the dust off the M24 sniper rifle. Welcome, buffoon-in-chief. A federal complaint revealing dozens of Robertson's posts, including pictures of an arsenal of weapons, images of Robertson dressed in camouflage clothing, armed with a long-range rifle, and multiple references to killing the president. The FBI says its investigation also uncovered threats against law enforcement and other public officials, including Vice President Kamala Harris, Attorney General Merrick Garland, and California Governor Gavin Newsom. After a months-long investigation, the FBI moving in early this morning.
The tipping point to me was President Biden was coming. He was going to be in close proximity, and this individual looked like he was on a planning path to carry out the attack.
An official tells ABC News the FBI's investigation into Robertson began back in April. The Secret Service was notified in June, and that Robertson was making plans to take physical action. The president was briefed about the deadly incident earlier today, Whit.
All right, Mola, thank you.
All right. So all interesting. First reaction to the video. We're once again, we're going to try to give you each some perspective on, what Olivia, what myself, what Amy read. And then I'm going to give you some, I hear a lot of what about Trump? What if this was Trump? I don't trust the FBI. We'll get to all those things. And I certainly want to address maybe some cadence that you're not aware of and nuance around this that you're not aware of. And we'll discuss it. Amy, you want to go first? Liv, who wants to go first?
I can go first.
Okay, you go first.
So, I read the left, the right, and the center. And so I read all three articles. But a little backstory. Apparently this guy has, for the last couple years, has said a lot of stuff about making threats towards certain people and mainly Democrats or left-leaning people. And this apparently was the only one that was really taken seriously. But apparently there have been some serious ones. Like he made a very serious one about Alvin Bragg, and he said he was going to go sit in the...
Be careful what you say, because you have to say quote. No.
Quote.
All you got to do is say quote, unquote when you're done.
He, quote, was going to go sit in the parking garage, and when he came down, he was going to do some really bad things, and it was pretty graphic. So... yeah, so apparently this is the only one that's been taken as a credible threat because it's the only one they have really been investigating. So the left, you'll never believe who they mentioned. They mentioned Trump.
Well, we can't guess if you don't let us guess.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you want to try it again?
Yeah. You'll never guess what who the left article mentioned.
Oh, God, the choices. I'm trying to think who it would be.
Hillary Clinton.
Yeah, Hillary Clinton. She
absolutely.
No, it was no, seriously, who was it?
No, it's Trump.
Don't be rude.
No, really? Donald Trump? I can't believe it. Why would the left do such a thing?
Yeah, so no kidding. So as far as what this article said, that they named that he had made threats against Biden, FBI agents that are investigating Trump,
Well, hi,
Alvin Bragg, Merrick Garland, and Letitia James. Those are the only people that they said he had made threats for.
Oh, those are the only?
That the left
said.
That, and every time they mentioned Bragg or any other, they said it's because he's indicting Trump or he's doing this to Trump.
Right.
They also mentioned that this Robertson guy was a MAGA Trumper. And then they went into Trump's indictments in January 6th, and like 3 paragraphs were about Trump. It's like, this has nothing to do with him. So it was definitely aimed at Trump and how this guy is a crazy MAGA Trumper, and bring it all back to Trump and what's going on with Trump. The right, they mentioned that he had made threats against Biden and others, including family members, Bragg, and former President Barack Obama. Didn't mention anything about the other DAs, didn't mention anything about any law enforcement or FBI agents. And they focused more, the only time Trump was mentioned is one of the investigators said that when they were surveilling him, that he was wearing a Trump hat. That's the only time Trump was mentioned in the article. But they focused more on the arsenal of guns and weapons that he had and more about the threats. And they actually went into detail about the threats that he made. So also about how he said, come back with a warrant to the FBI. And so the right is definitely more about his rights and he had guns and blah, 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 blah. It doesn't surprise me that the left brought up Trump so many times. But apparently he also made threats against Kamala Harris as well. And, the fact that the left is focusing on him being a MAGA Trumper. And it basically puts a bad light on anyone who else is a Trump supporter. And I think that's the whole point of the left. So they're trying to put a bad light on Trump, keep Trump in the narrative, and that anyone who follows Trump is crazy and that we're going to do crazy things. And I wasn't impressed by what the left said.
So a couple things from the photos. This guy presses his own ammo. He does have an M24. There's pictures of him in full TAC gear. He's ex-military, but this guy's he's set and ready to go. Guy had multiple ARs. The M24 is more of a concern for me than an AR. I don't really care about that. If he's going after a single target, M24 is not a bad choice. 308 Scout Sniper is not too bad either. But to have ballistic helmet, tactical gear, thigh protectors, major artery protectors, and plating, we'll talk about that. But Amy, I'd like to get your thoughts.
Can I say one more thing?
Yeah, say one more thing.
The other thing the left mentioned is that the threats were made on Trump's social media platform, Truth Social, and that's.
I forgot
where
to tell you
the
not to take everything, right? I said take a couple of.
Sorry, go ahead.
Couple of thoughts, not to like literally give the greatest book report ever.
Amy's gonna have a lot of.
Yeah, right. She's what she's about to say. You just took everything topic. I was gonna say. That's what she's.
Topic.
Go ahead, Amy.
Yeah, Olivia did take most of what I was going to point out the Truth Social thing. I was going to point out the Truth Social thing. I will talk about what they didn't mention and say I was surprised that the left did not bring up gun control or banning freedom of speech in the article that we all read. I thought they were going to say this is why we need stronger, laws against what people are allowed to say on social media. This is why we need to have, more gun control laws and basically wipe out all the guns. So I was a little bit, I just assumed not just the Trump stuff. I expected to see that. I also expected to see those types of things. And I mean, I just have a lot of questions that none of the articles answered, and I'm sure we'll find out in the days to come of what actually transpired. What was the interaction? I mean, again, if someone came into our homes at 6:00 in the morning and I had already had previous contact with me, I don't know exactly what I would do, but I don't think I would react well. I just don't. I think I would be dead too. This man was 74 and my parents are older now and in really good shape. Like
imagine what I'm going to look like at 74. I'm not going to be this frail old thing. It's just not going to happen.
No, but I think anybody could also. I think a younger FBI agent could totally take my dad. Like I wouldn't mess with him. He's gonna hold his own. He is former military as well. Like he is trained. He is very much protect my home kind of a man too. So I don't think it would end well for him either. So it's like, well, where's the stand your ground law? And was he served with a warrant before they shot him? I just have a lot of questions. Or did they
Olivia,
shoot him?
Do you have answers to that? Because it's my understanding that they have been speaking to him for several months, and his reaction and interactions.
They've been surveilling him since like March or something.
Yeah, it's my understanding that his reactions and interactions were very negative, very standoffish, not necessarily compliant in any way, shape, or form. Or and I'm reporting. I'm not picking and saying. I'm not going to sit here and defend this guy. It's ridiculous. If you threaten the president of the United States, you're going to get knocked by Secret Service or FBI, and you damn well know that. I don't care how old you are. And people are like, well, he's crazy. Yeah, so was John Wilkes Booth. So was Lee Harvey Oswald. So was Sirhan. We can go on forever. There's a few things I have to say about this. Is some people are like, well, some of these pictures are from years ago. Well, it doesn't matter. It's on his Facebook profile. It's showing. If anyone looks at my show, they know I got an M1. They got an AR-15. They know I have an 800-pound safe. They know I've got weapons too. It doesn't matter whether those pictures are from 8 years, 2 years, whatever. So let's break this down to the left and to the right. Okay, let's truly break down these talking points and see what we can come up with. Now, I think that's important so we can get a consensus. The left is saying, this guy's a Trump supporter. I mean, here's the differences. He's a Trump supporter. This is what happens when you have horrible rhetoric from Trump. This is what happens when people take January 6th to the next level. This is ultimately all Trump's fault, and it's MAGA's and this is what they're doing. Even though nobody is saying anything about the Steve Scalise shooting, that was a Bernie Sanders supporter. Nobody's talking about BLM, how it was inspired by Democrats. But this is the narrative from the left. And they are saying that people are militarized and they're geared up for war. And there's people out there who are not stable of mind who are taking this to the next level, or at least making statements that are going to get investigated by Secret Service or FBI. Now, I will tell you there's plenty of people who've made death threats to Joe Biden and Donald Trump on this page, and they get banned, and I report them immediately to Department of Homeland Security, FBI, and Secret Service. And you've all seen me do it. At least some of you, I hope, is that when I get that, I go at Secret Service, at Department of Homeland Security, at FBI, send, and then I immediately report them to Facebook and block them. So that's the left's narrative, okay? And that's the major difference. Now, on the right, what I'm hearing is people starting to do the subtle innuendo of what they did with J6, which is to make excuses for this guy and defend him because they believe that the Department of Justice, the FBI, and Joe Biden are corrupt. So therefore, this couldn't possibly be a viable no-knock warrant and result. Now, that's what I'm hearing from the right. You're hearing a lot of that. So let me go ahead and test that thought process and give you a few things about that you may not know. And this is what you're not going to read in an article. Secret Service has a forward response team. And this forward response team is usually 72 hours. And they will move ahead of the president, the vice president, and anyone else who has Secret Service detail. And they will, was there a warrant? Of course there's a warrant. Yes, there's always a warrant for this. The moment that this guy said what he said and they got authorization for surveillance, there's a warrant. And okay, there may not be a warrant, but this would be the first non-warrant that you would see publicly outside of the FISA warrant for Trump, which is completely different, right? I mean, yes, there's a warrant. Of course there's a warrant. It would take 2 seconds to get a warrant from this because they don't even need a warrant. There's a viable death threat. And they have a right to investigate it. So, but I guarantee before they went, they had a warrant. But that's neither here nor there, okay? And it's not because I don't care, or it's not because I'm like, that's infringing upon his rights. Okay, just let's stay focused because that's what we're trying to do here tonight, all right? So the forward response team moves out, and what those people do is they check hotels, they check background investigations. If they have any flyers or red flags, they will interview those people. They will check their crime database for people who've made, it's about 3,500 people who've made any type of threats against the president or the vice president or any public officials. They'll cross-reference that to zip codes, areas of travel, ticket sales, all that type of stuff. They'll check mailboxes, they'll check manhole covers, they'll make sure anything that can have an incendiary or explosive device is secure. How do I know all this, Matt? How do you know all this? Because I do. So that's how I know about all this. So if you want my resume, I'll give you my resume. But operational security is not just for the Secret Service. There's multiple agencies that do this. There's multiple military units that do this. And OPSEC is not that complicated. But that forward response team, they issue hundreds, if not thousands of these every single year annually. And yes, Donald Trump too. They go out and the forward advance team will go ahead and knock doors. They will go ahead and investigate people, and they will serve warrants. And usually what happens is they'll go out and have a conversation with the people, right? They'll say, listen, there's been some reported activity on your social accounts or through a letter that we received. We need to understand some things, blah, 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 ask them questions, maybe come with us, maybe don't, whatever. And then they'll go ahead and they'll essentially rustle the bushes, so to speak. Other people, they will take into custody while the president, vice president, whatever is going to visit, hold them for a certain period of time and then let them go. And they have the absolute right to do that. If there's a credible threat, they can get a warrant for that. They can lock that person up. They can do an investigation. They can interrogate them and hold them on domestic terrorism charges for up to 72 hours indefinitely, depending upon what writ they get and what warrant they get. And this happens all the time with the Secret Service. It happens all the time with the FBI. So for people to say, would they have done this for Trump? Yes, and they did it hundreds, if not thousands of times. How do I know that? Because I have a couple of Secret Service friends, retired and active. I've also got U.S. Marshals as friends too, who also do the same thing. So the point being is when people are saying, oh, no, that doesn't happen. They didn't do it for Trump. It's ridiculous. The Secret Service was extremely loyal to Trump. The Secret Service liked Trump quite a bit. And there weren't these negative things that you get from the FBI and the DOJ. And if anyone thinks that the Secret Service was not on Trump's side, you don't know anything about Trump's administration, and you certainly don't know anything about the Secret Service. So there's that. Now that you have that, the question is, was it legal for what they did? Did they have a right to go in and kill a man for making threats? And the answer is no. They had absolutely no right to enter this man's home and kill him unless there was a viable threat to those officers serving that warrant. Period, plain and simple. And the only thing we will know is when they get body cam footage, which we will receive, hopefully, unless they were defective, and I seriously doubt that they weren't, considering it's a full team. And then we can take a look at that. Do I have to err on the side of caution that he brandished a weapon? Yes. Do I have to err on the side of caution that he was going to harm those officers? Yeah, based upon what he said, based upon the comments that he made, based upon his neighbors saying some very nice things about him, but saying that he had moments of delusion and comments of going out in blazes of glory, those things are concerning. Yeah. So my opinion on this of what I've heard is that we have to understand that this happens multiple hundreds of times a year, and we never hear about them because none of them end this way. Love to hear from Amy. Love to hear from Olivia.
Yeah. I mean, I completely agree. And I'm glad to know that our Secret Service, does this type of surveillance. And, I'm sure there's many companies, or at least a dedicated sector of our government that monitors these posts and things like that. And, yes, he was an old man, and he was described as this frail man who walked with a cane, and I completely understand that. But again, just because you have a cane but if you're carrying and you've made posts that you have such and such weapons, and that you're threatening people's lives, they're going to go in thinking the worst. And I don't know the interaction. That's why I said I have a lot of questions about what the interaction was. I'm looking forward to seeing the videos once they are released, if they are ever released.
Or the after action report. But they will have to, because they're going to be open in the Freedom of Information Act. They're not going to make these confidential, folks. This is a public shooting. And it was done by the FBI. And there's been other FBI shootings that we've seen the footage. We will see the footage of this. Now, if it's the manifesto that listen, I understand why some people are flipping out and going, hey, man, they're not giving us information on the manifesto from the trans shooter and all this other. Okay, stay focused. Most of the time, we get Freedom of Information Act requests not turned down. I will file a Freedom of Information Act request. That's how I get information earlier than some people. Yeah. So will every press agency, and eventually that will come out. Here's what it comes down to. Why are we defending this guy? Why is anyone making excuses for this guy? If you're going to make death threats to the President of the United States, and I don't care who that is, why are we condoning that? Right. If somebody... Okay, here's the other question. If you're going to say comply when it comes to George Floyd and Trayvon Martin or Michael Brown, then why aren't you saying that with him? This is very reminiscent of the Ashley Babbitt thing for me. Is you speak out of the sides of your mouth and say, oh yeah, all he's got to do is comply and he'll be safe. Okay, well then all this guy had to do was comply and be safe. Isn't that fair? So we can't sit here, and I don't care. A 75-year-old man with an AR-15, I am going to treat him just like I would treat anyone with an AR-15, as an existential threat that I have to put down. Mm-hmm. Don't tell me you don't think the same way. Who doesn't? I don't care if he's 75 years or older or not. The Steve Scalise shooter wasn't a young spring chicken.
No, he was older, right?
Yeah. Right. And I don't know if you know this, but my neighbor who is pushing 78 something, homeboy can frickin' hit a flea at 700 yards.
Yep.
And I wouldn't want him, if he came at me with a weapon, I'd be like, holy crap. I don't care how old he is. We have to be careful. And I'm just coming from a place there's not enough information for anyone to know, because if you see the video and this guy starts brandishing an AR, you're going to be like, oh, well, they had to shoot him. So until we see that, we don't know. But based upon what we're seeing,
based upon me actually getting access to his Facebook profile for a brief, 3.5, 4 minutes before they blacked this thing out. He had a lot of stuff on social. He had a few things on Facebook, but social was where it was at, man. I mean, that's where a lot of the negative stuff was. And if you read some of this stuff, which I'm not going to,
yeah,
well,
like
you know
I wouldn't say.
No, you know what? Screw it. I have no problem telling you. Here it is.
Something tells me that the left is going to bring up, because he's made threats for like 2 years now, and it being on Truth Social, that Trump was for it, Trump backed him, and that's what my gut's going to come out, that the left's going to start saying, is because it was on Truth Social.
Does my neighbor use a scope or open sight? Well, he's a Green Beret Special Forces, deck at 10.
He taught me how to shoot.
So there's not, he doesn't, yes. Yeah. There's your answer. That guy can shoot anything made, and he owns everything made. The guy could teach me a few things, and has. So this is what he said. He reportedly made threatening social media. Oh, real quick. Including saying, I hear blank, and that would be the president, is coming to Utah, digging out my old ghillie suit and cleaning the dust off my M24. He also said, in my dream, I see Blank's body in a dark corner of a D.C. parking garage with his head severed and lying in a huge puddle of blood. Hoorah. End quote. I'll be waiting in the courthouse parking, quote, I'll be waiting in the courthouse parking garage with my suppressed Smith & Wesson MP 9mm to smoke a radical fool prosecutor that should never have been elected. He posted, bye-bye to another corrupt BITCH, end quote. Hey, buddy. Good night.
He's going to go spend the night
Hey, have
his
fun.
friend's house.
Have a good time. Give me 5.
So he's
have fun.
getting his stuff.
Tell Jack and everybody hello.
Hi.
Hey, folks,
Love you,
that's not okay, right? That is a clear and present danger. I don't want this guy in the street. I don't want this guy anywhere. Listen, you can't be upset when they talk about active shooters. Well, why doesn't the FBI do something? Well, they just did, and you're complaining. I understand. If they said Biden supporter, you would be freaking flipping out.
It's the fact that he was a Trump supporter.
That's
and
it.
People are very biased. The forever Trumpers are very, very biased. And if it puts a bad light on Trump, they defend no matter what. This guy was a scumbag. Whether or not they were empty threats, they're still threats.
Yes.
And it should be taken credible until it's proven not.
Yeah.
And I don't care if he was Republican or Democrat. He definitely should have been investigated.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's it. This is open and shut. And I see people defending him, and they're like, here's the corrupt. They got Ashley Babbitt. Now they got this guy. Folks, the left associate with some pretty bad people, right? Che Guevara comes to mind. He is an ideological god to leftist college kids. They have shirts made out of him. The man was a homophobe and threw homosexuals off buildings. He was a communist. He starved his people. Of course, the left has horrible heroes. And how can we sit here and say that we could start cheering for this guy? I don't know what we're talking about. There's no reason to support this guy. And there is no mishmash. Now, the left is using it to go ahead and spin the narrative, and so is the right. They both are. Honestly, I think at this point, good. Glad it was solved. I wish it wouldn't have turned into a homicide, but it is what it is. It sounds like self-defense to me. I think we care about that. We're Republicans. We care about self-defense. We care about our officers. We care about the law. I mean, either you care about law or you don't. I mean, which is it? Are we thin blue line or not?
Exactly.
Yes, and here's the thing. I think it's a horrible thing to show up at 6:30, but they obviously felt that there was a credible threat that this guy carried, that this guy would have been more of a threat when maybe he was on a sleep apnea machine. Maybe he takes freaking medicine to go ahead and knock him out at that time. And they felt that he was the least amount of threat at 6:30 for a no-knock. But here's the thing. If I'm the FBI, and I'm not condoning this, they knew they were going to go in and kill him. They had to have. I cannot sit here in good conscience and say that every single supervisor and every tactical evaluation led to the same scenario, that this guy was going to live fire. Does anyone else think?
No, they probably had a thought that he was probably going to defend himself.
How wouldn't he have? He made threats. I'm going to go down. I'm going to do that. This guy carries weapons. He's a modern day G.I. Joe. How did we expect anything different?
And
Amy, do you see them thinking anything different?
no, and I think it gives credibility to, them even targeting him from his posts. I mean, obviously he was not right in the head. That's apparent from the posts he was and the threats he was making. And it wasn't like a ha ha, I'm just kidding. These were, you don't just keep doing that. And I thought he was banned from Truth Social, but I might be wrong for that. But no, I mean, if you're the FBI,
But his account was still in archives. I mean, that's the great thing about the internet. Like, you can go search every single. I had a post come up where a couple people were fat shaming me on Twitter, and I'm like, okay, here's my pictures. Oh, please, Amy. Like, I give a flying shit what a bunch of little dweebs say, and I know what my build's like, and I don't care. They can come in here and suck it. But
the only opinion that should matter.
I don't even go here. I don't even care. Stop it. I don't care. I don't want to talk about this. This is the dumbest thing. I don't care. I'm not going to lend any credence to this type of stuff. I know what I look like. I know how much weight I push. I know what I look like in a t-shirt. I know what I look like without. And guess what? Suck it. But that's not my problem. The problem is there was a lady on Twitter where she kept haranguing and making fun of me, making fun of pictures. And then I finally just said, well, why don't you have a pickup? Are you fat? And he pulled it back up. And I said, you know what? That wasn't right of me. That was stupid. That was immature. You're absolutely right. My point is that you can find anything on the internet. You can find anything that anyone said on any social post. We have to remember that. It's important to understand that there are archives available, and it's forever encapsulated on your page. So don't think that because you say something on the internet and delete it, that it's gone, because it's not. All right. Now that we've talked about that, I don't want to let it any credence. People talk crap about me all the time, and I don't care. It doesn't bother me. I won't let it. So the whole point of this is judge signs off, finds that he's heavily armed. They see the good night, buddy. They see the pictures. They know what he's going to do. And of course, the judge signs off. Good night, bud. The judge is going to sign off for an AM warrant because he's so heavily armed. But they also knew that that was pretty much a death warrant based upon this guy's threats. So, listen, man, what are you going to do? You're going to go knock a door, kick a door in, go grab a guy. And what are you going to do? If he lifts his rifle, you're going to shoot him? Of course you're going to shoot him. Did you know that? These guys do things that are incredibly dangerous every single day. And either you trust the thin blue line or you don't. That's up to you. But what I don't think you do is all of a sudden get this guy's back as a model for the left. Why don't we put up a statue of him like they did with George Floyd? Should we do that? A DeLue Robertson statue? We can put it in the middle of Nashville, Tennessee. Does that sound good to everybody? We can go to and worship it, and we call it the DeLue Center. Does it sound good? No, fuck no. Who cares? This guy's a dirtbag. All right, there, I'm done. Anything else? Sorry for the language. Does anyone else have an opinion on this? Olivia, Amy, any viewers? Am I wrong? Am I right? Who cares?
No.
All right. Jeez, you guys.
I think what happened, I would like to believe in the system despite a lot of problems. And I think until proven otherwise, what happened was probably a necessary thing. I mean, no one wants to see someone lose their life. But if someone's threatening me, I'm going to defend myself.
Yeah.
I think we all would.
And it's a conundrum, right? It's a conundrum. And what do? You're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. I mean, we are all gun owners. Someone knocks our door like that, 6:30 in the morning, I'm probably going to brandish a weapon. I'm not going to lie. And I'm probably going to die. Yeah. And that scares me. I'm not going to take out 8 SWAT team members or FBI tactical team. Not a chance. And give me the right ammunition and the right amount of surprise and the right pre-planning. Well, that's a different story. But not in that situation. I'm going to run out there in my skivvies and I'm going to be like, holy shit. You know what I'm probably going to do? The moment I recognize it's FBI, I'm probably going to shite my skivvies. Yeah, I mean, folks, if you haven't been in a live fire situation, you can practice all you want. But once dollars to donuts, once that goes off and boom takes place, all your plans go out the window, especially at 6 o'clock in the morning. I'd be like, what what's going on? Is it time for breakfast? We're going to Tammy's? What's going on? Yeah, it's not good, folks. It's not good. They knew what was going to happen. All right, whose birthday is it?
Susie.
No, it's Judy Gurley's. Judy Gurley, happy birthday. Hey, Jude.
That was Susie's.
Is it Susie's?
I thought it was Susie's.
All right, everybody, happy birthday. If it's your birthday, happy birthday.
Happy
Susie,
birthday,
happy
yeah.
birthday. Judy, happy birthday. It's Judy. It says Judy Gurley's happy birthday. Happy belated.
I thought Susie said it was her birthday too. It's my friend's son's birthday too. So happy birthday.
Hi, friend's
to him.
son's birthday. Hi, everybody. Happy birthday to anybody who has a birthday today. Congratulations. All right, next thing. I'm not trying to be insensitive. We got a show to do. All right, here it goes. Happy birthday. Who's singing? Are we singing happy birthday?
No.
Happy birthday
We can get
to
Hayden
you.
and she'll do it.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Judy and Susie and Amy's friend too. There it is. All right. Morning raids are horrible. I mean, you pretty much guarantee nothing good's going to come out of a morning raid. I'm just letting you know. Just not going to happen. A couple denied application for foster care because of religious beliefs.
I'm going to let Amy go first on this.
Yeah, I'm going to give you a brief overview. The right is saying Catholic couple says they were blocked from fostering child due to LGBTQ beliefs. So they believe, because they believe marriage is a man and a woman, they believe that a man's a man and a woman is a woman, that they were denied fostering children. The left says Massachusetts couple denied foster care application over LGBTQ views, complaint says. But that's not the in-depth of the whole thing. There's more to it than this. Let's watch the video and then we can talk about it. Here it is.
A Catholic couple is suing Massachusetts for allegedly denying them the opportunity to adopt children due to their religion.
Tammy, Tennyson, Craig, happy belated birthday to you. Oh my gosh, everybody.
Just beliefs on transgender procedures.
You all, everybody. Happy birthday.
For children. Mike and Kitty Burke filed a lawsuit against the Massachusetts Department of Children and Families, challenging its decision to deny their ability to become foster parents because they, quote, would not be affirming to a child who identified as LGBTQIA. The Burkes are Roman Catholic. In the lawsuit, it says they believe children, quote, should not undergo procedures that attempt to change their God-given sex. But a Massachusetts adoption official countered, quote, their faith is not supportive, and neither are they, effectively barring them from adopting a child in the state. While the lawsuit alleges religious discrimination, it suggests a larger question: whether adherence to transgender medical interventions for children is part of the screening process for parents in Massachusetts. While that point is still unclear, the Massachusetts Commission on LGBTQ Youth has recommended the state legislature expand child abuse laws to allow for the possible persecution of parents who do not allow a child to transition.
God, this is kind of like, this would make a great board game, right?
Yeah.
You're the left, you're the right. Here's the scenario. You have to make the decision. Who's being a twat waffle? So this is a quagmire wrapped in a riddle, wrapped in an enigma, and I think this comes down to states' rights, and I think that's what we're going to ultimately get to, because immediately to me, I can make examples that are the opposite of this, and the roles are completely reversed in certain states, and so if you're going to clutch your pearls, you better do it for both sides. This is how we get to the middle. And nobody's going to like this, right? People are going to be upset with me. They're like, how can you do that? Because the foot is on the other shoe, right? That's the way this works. And yes, I said it in that order for a reason. Amy, why don't you go first? Tell us what your thoughts are.
Well, they were just trying to foster a child, correct? Not adopt legally.
That's what I saw. It was supposed foster.
Okay.
Foster.
So foster kids, and I might be wrong because I don't have a lot of knowledge on the foster care system other than it needs help across the board. But the foster care system, from what I understand, is those children are basically wards of the state. So they are essentially property of the state. So yes, the state has every right to deny basically anyone the right to raise those children. A personal belief is, if you have a loving family who wants to take in a child who needs a home, let the family do it. But maybe vet them on a different level. Are they abusive, or do they have a criminal record? What kind of, standing do they have with their friends and family and community? That's what I would base it on, more so personally than their religious beliefs. That's my 2 cents. But yes, if they're wards of the state and these kids are just still going to be wards of the state, and a family is being paid essentially to take care of these children, they have to abide by the laws of that state and what they want. As crappy as that may sound to a lot of people.
Yeah, it's good. It's good points. Before I kick it over to Olivia, Mike's like, well, I thought it was separation of church and state. Well, this would be, unfortunately. See, here's the thing, is that you've got the right saying this is religious persecution and this is against, freedom of religion. But remember, the children's freedom is also has to be considered. And remember, we're the party of don't F with our kids, leave our kids alone, right? Well, that has to hold true with any indoctrination. And whether you agree with it or not, religion is indoctrination. It's not a negative thing. Indoctrination is taking a practice and instilling it upon a child or a person. That's it. That's all it is. So it's still the same thing. It's just your particular brand of vodka that you like. It's your brand of cornflakes that you enjoy. That doesn't make it right. Right. So if you're going to say that talking about sexual disposition or certain cultural aspects or certain sociological practices aren't okay to instill up in a child, and that should be up to the parents, well, then you have to assume the same thing for the future parents who are going to have that child permanently, that a foster parent would have to be almost agnostic to everything at some point, or not have any political views or religious views that are going to be imposed upon the child because they're not the permanent parent.
I'm sorry, hold on.
So you have to ask that question. Olivia, what are your thoughts? I mean, I'd like to get your opinion on this.
Well, okay. So apparently this couple has been struggling with infertility issues for years. And that's why that they wanted to foster. Now, I know a lot of foster parents who do struggle with infertility, and I've known a couple myself.
We don't have that problem.
No, we don't.
Holy
no,
crap.
we don't.
In fact, we have a butterfly net and saran wrap. And
snap our fingers and it's done.
And then I have a cattle prod just in case I didn't get them all at the end where Olivia had, hold still, baby. This is going to hurt. Yeah. Go ahead.
So it's possible that their intention was to, if getting a foster is to adopt. And that has happened quite often. There's people who only foster, and then there's people who foster to adopt. And it's very possible that that was where they were going with this.
Right.
So this is definitely, it's interesting. But as far as reading the articles, it was the left, they made more of a point about the couple had negative views on the LGBTQ community, and they brought all that up, and they didn't really mention anything about fertility issues. They didn't mention anything about any quotes that
they didn't mention the Constitution and rights.
They didn't say anything.
Nothing.
It was very short and sweet, and it was all making the LGBTQ community, putting them in a light, and basically making this couple bad. As far as the right, it was all about woe is me for the couple. And
religious persecution.
Religious persecution. They really didn't mention LGBTQ unless it was mentioned at the very beginning that this is the reason why. But they had a lot of quotes from the couple of why they were suing the state for the religious persecution. They talked about how that they've been struggling with infertility, and they were absolutely devastated when they found out they weren't going to be parents. So they definitely, the right, focused more on the parents and their rights and the couple, and the left focused more on the LGBTQ rights. So it's definitely, it's amazing how different the two sides
Isn't
are.
it crazy now that we're doing this? Because this is what I do every day, right? I go and I read all the articles, center, left, and right, and then I come to some simple truths. And it's a mixture of not just focusing on one thing, but multiple facets where, okay, so now we got to put the shoe on the other foot, or the foot on the other shoe, however you want to say it. The question is, if this couple were gay and lesbian, would the same thing be taken into account? And that's where I went back to states' rights, because if you're in Oklahoma, or you're in Georgia, or you're in somewhere else, those rights are different there as far as fostering, and they have more of an affront towards LGBTQ individuals, lesbians and gay couples, and they accept more religious couples, and it's actually a prerequisite to have some sort of religion or belief in God. So it depends on the state's laws, and this is what it comes down to. This is not a federal issue. This is a state issue. And the state has to decide what's best for that child at that time, and they are endowed with that right. If we don't like it, we need to change the law. If you don't like the state deciding what happens to foster children, then you need to change the law and you need to run on that. But somebody needs to overlook this, because I will tell you, it is a very dangerous and terrifying thing, kids going into foster care. It is not this fun day away at summer camp. When CPS was in our house and Olivia and I talked about it, we mentioned how we were terrified for them to go even do a foster care even for a weekend. I believe this. I believe that foster parents should have faith. It's okay if they're lesbian or gay. I don't care about that. As long as those precursors that we were talking about, they're not abusers, they're not sexual abusers, they're not groomers, they're not this. And they should be more agnostic when it comes to influencing those children. We're here to provide a loving environment, a safe environment, provide food and clothing and warmth, and a place where they can nurture until they find a permanent home. That I can separate left and right. Now, the fact that they openly disclose that, hey, we're very religious, we don't believe in this, we don't believe in transgenderism, we don't believe in LGBT. Well, you said those things. You made it open that you probably couldn't do your job without those things. You're like, well, we go to Sunday prayer, we'll take them to Sunday, we'll take them to church, we'll do this.
It was a direct question on the application.
Yeah.
They were asked what their views were. So it's not like they just openly gave it. They were asked. But they also said that we would love that child no matter what.
Right.
That.
But what is your love? What defines your love, right?
They said if their child got married and they were gay, they would go to the wedding and they would love that child. The only thing they said, because they are devout Catholics, is that child would have to live a chaste life.
That's what I just said, right?
Yeah, that's the only thing. But they never said they would support them and they would
Yeah,
love
but-
them.
but-
So there was no negativity.
Yeah, it is negative. If you say that and you get a 16-year-old kid and that kid comes in and had sex and all of a sudden they start throwing the Bible at him, and you can't do that. This kid is not yours. This is like, okay, imagine this. When you foster dogs and cats, your job is to feed them, is to love them, is to groom them, provide safety. It's not to beat them. It's not to punish them. It's not to train them to sit or stand up. If they have obedience problems, that's completely different. But you can't apply your personal feelings towards, like you can't get that dog and go get it neutered because you think every animal should be neutered. You can't do that in foster care. That's my point. You can't put if you're going to permanently change that dog or cat, you cannot do that. You can't declaw it. You can't remove its tail. You can't pin its ears back. If you do, you're permanently altering that kid. Well, that stands true for a mental standpoint. So by them saying that they're going to chastity the child, that's complete. You can't do that. You can't sit here and say that you're going to force celibacy on a child or teach them about that when that's not your job. Your job is just to provide the basic necessities to get them to their permanent home. Does that make sense, or do we disagree?
No.
Yes, and I would, and I don't know how you would do this, but a family in a state that has these particular parameters set around their foster care system, maybe they could limit this family in particular, or families similar to this family, to having infants and babies up to like a certain age. I don't know what their laws are in that state, but it's, because that way you're not really like if you take the kid to church at 6 months old, that doesn't really influence their life, but it's fulfilling a need for both parties. So I don't know, maybe that's a compromise on the state and the family. I don't know.
It's a money issue, I think, and then it's also an accessibility issue. Is in order to be adopted, you have to be seen by the parents, right? So if I got to go out of state, I'm sure most people don't care about that, but the question is would they travel out of state when maybe there's options in state that are more affordable? I think there's a lot of, it goes back to the state. Maureen says, how do you force a kid into celibacy? You don't let them outside. You punish them. You withhold them their dinner. You spank them. There's a lot of things that people will do to force a child not to follow a pathway that they disagree with. Parents do it all the time. I've spanked my child. I've withheld food from my child for a brief period of time, desserts and snacks and sodas. Yeah, of course they get their three meals and a snack. But I'm not gonna. You know what? We're gonna go out to eat frozen yogurt, and you're gonna get some because you decided to go ahead and pee all over the wall today. No, you're not gonna be rewarded for that. Real story, bro. So I think we need to understand is that if you're going to sit here and say, well, how does a parent instill God into a child that quickly? Well, then why do you care about lesbians and gay couples then?
Right.
So you have, this is the middle ground, folks. This is what moderation looks like. This is you tempering your emotion and your bias and saying, okay, can I see the other side's point of view? Can I look to the left and go, all right, I understand where they're coming from. I don't agree with it, but I do understand where they're coming from. As long as you can do that, then there's that little thread that we can all pull on to understand each other a little bit more. I personally think this is stupid. I think if they're loving and caring people like they are, they should have had the ability to foster. I think there's not enough great foster parents out there, and I think this is completely stupid. But once again, this is what happens when you give power to the government, is they get to make stupid decisions, and there's nothing we can do about it.
I agree that if they're loving parents, these children need loving homes. They're coming from bad homes where they've either been abused or been neglected or anything. They just need someone to love for them and care for them and take care of them. And if, I think that if they're going to not allow people of certain religions to be foster parents, then in that same state, they need to not allow LGBTQ to become foster parents. If they are going to allow
right, and then nobody's going to be.
If they're going to allow LGBTQ, then they need to allow religious people to foster. I mean, it's completely ridiculous.
This was in Massachusetts, so we automatically know Massachusetts fairly freaking liberal and has been. I just want to make one more point. Somebody said, well, you're not allowed to do corporal punishment in fosters. Yeah, you're not allowed to put cigarettes out on their arm either. You're not allowed to film them having sex with other children or adults. But guess what? Foster care does horrible stuff, and that's why they screen these people. That's why they don't. But if you're going to sit here and do religious persecution based upon ideology, whether that's spiritual ideology or sexual ideology, then you can't allow lesbians and gays. And then if you can't do that, then you can't allow heterosexuals either. So basically, you're going to have to find complete autonomous robots in order to do this, and we can have AI raise our children. This is stupid. I believe lesbians and gays should be able to foster. I believe straight people, black, white, green, and different, Methodists, Lutheran, Mormons. I don't give a crap. As long as you don't harm these beautiful, loving kids, then there are not enough homes for these children. And it stops people from doing the worst thing. As Republicans, we should see this, that abortion becomes an option for these people because instead of putting them in the foster care system or the adoptive process, they kill them. So guess what? We need to loosen the adoptive restrictions. We need to make it easier to get a child in the United States than it is to get a child in China or Africa.
There's a reason why people go out of country.
That's
and
right.
I know somebody that had infertility issues for years, tried, and they couldn't, and they wanted to adopt. And the adoption process was insane. Like, how many times do you go to church a week and blah, blah, blah. I mean, the questionnaire, how many times do you cuss? How many times do you say this word? And it's just
hardly fucking ever.
Yeah. And it was just like they said, screw it. We're just going to go without kids. Because
it was in
this
Massachusetts.
is too hard.
Massachusetts. And I think that we should have stringent policies. And there's some people who should never have children, like my brother and sister-in-law. Go ahead, Amy.
No, I agree with everyone. And I know people who have adopted. And I have always wanted to foster, not at this point. I want my kids to be older before I take in other people's children, just because I'm selfish and I don't want my kids to be influenced in a potentially negative way. I mean, I'm not saying every kid in the foster care system is a bad child or but they need a lot more dedication. They need more time.
Yeah.
They need more of you. So I really hope one day I'm in the position to be a foster parent. When my kids are older and I can dedicate that time to another child, for sure. I would love to do it. In Virginia, I'm not going to be denied because I'm religious, but who knows?
Right.
By the time
I would. There's no way in hell that we would ever get approved to foster children. Ever. There's no way. Not with my political beliefs, not the things that I've said. Even though in no way, shape, or form have I told my children what to believe or what to think.
Right.
I've never said, you can't be a liberal. You can't be a Detroit Red Wings fan, which is even worse for me, right? So we allow our children to, but my daughter's a Kansas City Chiefs fan, for God's sakes, and my son rooted for the Anaheim Ducks and the frickin' Tampa Bay Lightning for a couple of years.
Oh, and the Knights. Oh, he said he was a Knights fan the first
So
year.
folks, you know, it doesn't matter. My kids are, anyone who's met my kids know my kids are freaking awesome. They make mistakes just like everybody, but they're well behaved. And we would be a blessing to any child who wants to come in as foster parents. But guess what? We would never get the right. And we're cool with that. In fact, I do it on purpose because I don't want fosters.
I've heard horror stories about foster kids, and I love children, but I have never wanted to foster.
No,
I heard a horror story when I was a freshman.
We're not going to recite it because we don't have time.
But it was about my English teacher who fostered it. And
Yeah,
from that point on, I'm like,
You're telling the story. We're not going to do it. We're going to pop smoke. We're going to go on. And the reason why is because I want to stick to a schedule, right?
Yes.
I want to do an hour and a half to 2 hours every night, if that, on our live show, because they're becoming more robust. You're getting more content. I think this is the biggest one we've done. As far as like just staying on track and diving into the topics and giving you a ton of information and opinions so you can stay informed. I hope you guys like the new format. I think it's going to be successful. We'll see on the replays. You can let us know if you hate it. Tell us. Hunter Biden, special counsel, has been assigned. Now, this is interesting. So, yeah, this is interesting. Who wants to go first? Because I'm probably going to be able to add the most on this. Who wants to jump on this?
I can.
Okay, Liv, go.
I mean, it was this. I had like 5 minutes to read both articles in this one, and this is definitely more confusing to me. So I don't know how much of an opinion I have on this. But, you know, as far as the
Massachusetts is a commonwealth. Go ahead.
The first thing I noticed on the left article, the first thing they mentioned is Hunter is Joe Biden's surviving son. That was the first thing I noticed. Right now, playing on the heartstrings that this is his only surviving son.
Is that after his son that died in Iraq that didn't?
Blah, blah, blah.
Okay, right.
So, and then guess who they mentioned in the article again?
Hillary Clinton.
You would be wrong.
Barack Obama.
Wait a second.
Sorry.
Hold on. Let me think. No. Let me think.
Oh, Jill Biden.
Ooh, that's a good one. Or
Absolutely not. That would be impossible.
No.
Is it our...
Do you want to tell the story or are you going to let me finish?
Scientist?
Go ahead. Go ahead, Amy.
Oh, I was just saying, is it our favorite scientist?
Fauci? No.
Democrats piss me off.
Was it Eric Cartman?
No.
All right, tell us who.
It was Trump. Holy cow. I
Who?
didn't see that coming.
Who?
Donald Trump.
Because you'd be in jail.
Exactly.
Donald Trump.
Donald Trump. And
Wow.
of course, they mentioned that the Republicans and that they went into Trump's stuff and that it's unfair because of the plea deal's unfair because of what Trump's going through. And they bring it all back to Trump, as they usually do with anything with politics.
Well, let's watch the video before we go off.
Okay.
Because I want to make sure that everybody gets and understand. This is Chuck Todd. And you guys, I frickin' despise this little rodent. So the fact that I got to play Chuck Todd, you guys owe me something. By the way, can you go get him?
What?
Shaky things that we were sent as a gift.
Oh.
Yeah. Sorry, I got to do this. It's important. I forgot. Hold on a second. We were sent something by a viewer. And I hope the viewer doesn't frickin' say, Matt, you owe me airtime and we got to sell Sensi now. Little joke. Hold on. That was an old viewer.
Oh, I don't have my Sensi stuff over here anymore. I think I gave it away. To
I
my
burned
daughter.
it. I burned it all. Cheryl, I think it's Pazinski, how you say it. There is a cup. Don't set them there. Set them on the leather so it doesn't make noise. This was sent to us, and these are from the Northern Spice Company. And we were sent holy hamburger.
Oh, it's amazing.
We were sent Northern Herb poultry rub with no salt. Roasted garlic powder. Oh, dude. We opened up each one and smelled them. They are so amazing. Blacksmith Bayou blackening seasoning. Sweet smoked paprika. And then the last one is Simply 3, which is like a, almost like a, yeah, it's Simply 3. It's like garlic with salt and some sort of chive. Or it's so good. It tastes like sour cream and onion a little bit, but maybe even like sweet Lipton's soup mix. Cheryl sent, bless you. Cheryl sent us these. It was so sweet. The Northern Spice. Look up the website we live. Yeah. Northern Spice Company, and it's in Michigan. Manistee, Michigan. Manistee. Delicious.
Oh, it's amazing.
Oh my God, we've been putting on every single. We love barbecue.
Happy Friday. Welcome to
We
Meet the
love
Press
barbecue. We love everything. Chicken, pork, my fajitas, beef stew. We did beef stew, put a little sweet paprika, the garlic powder, and then one other. And God, the stew was amazing.
The Bayou one was a little spicy for me.
Yeah,
That's
but
the only one I didn't really
you know,
like.
it's black and seasoning. Did you find it?
I did.
Michigan, and it's called what? Northern Spice Company.
Northern Spice Company in Michigan.
So I'll pull it up here.
That's the first one that pops up.
Yep, I got it. Here it is. I'm putting it up here right now for you guys, just so you can see it. Northern Spice Company has their recipes. Has everything for you. Has cool videos. Asparagus with hollandaise sauce. Sticky barbecue wing. Pumpkin spice latte. So they have stuff that you can actually make based upon some of the.
Go there and look at some of those recipes.
Oh yeah, they've got all sorts, and it's reasonably priced. Like the package that we got was like just a big box.
Oh, it's amazing.
And it had everything, and they've got stuff for $4 all the way up to $50 for a huge bag. So like, let's say that we want to go ahead and do the hamburger seasoning. Let's see. That's going to be Holy Hamburger, $8. $8.
Normal price,
And
right?
you just
for a yeah, it's normal. For
and you just sprinkle a little bit on, and this stuff comes out. It's not dry, and it doesn't make the burger dry and the chicken. It makes it moist. It seals it in. The blackened chicken's amazing. Most blackened chicken you got to sear up. No, I put it on both sides. Put it over. It blackens naturally. The paprika kicks up on it. It's beautiful. If you have not been there, go there. Go pick up some of this stuff. I'm not getting paid for this. Go ahead.
I'll forget it. Can you send me the link later?
Yeah, we'll send you the link. So if you have not had a chance, go take a look. And I'm not the Home Shopping Network, but when a viewer is nice enough to send me something, I'm going to give them a plug. And I'm going to tell, hey, unless you're somebody who thinks that I deserve to do that plug every day for the rest of your life. Unless you're Jason from PFC.
Does she have a chicken pot pie seasoning?
Yeah, I don't know, but
because maybe that could be a DUM Show collab. Just saying.
Dude, I'm going to have her. Wouldn't it be great if I had her make me one? But you know what? All we need to do is it would be like it would be carrot, some celery, some onion, dried onion, with like some chicken broth style cubes in it. And then maybe some, not graham cracker, but anyway, grind all that up and you could have yourself a nice little rub that you put on chicken. Hell yeah, chicken pot pie seasoning. You know what? We'll do that. It'll become called DUM Pot Pie. So DUM pot and pie. I got the logo in my head. DUM Pot Pie. It's perfect. I'm ready to go. All right, let's watch Chuck Todd. Here it is.
Idea. Oh. Can I just get a free bottle?
Yeah, I'll just give you some of mine. I mean, you can have some. Dude, and they last forever. I mean, we've used these things a ton, and they're still full.
DUM Pot Pie, obviously.
Yeah, they're good.
Yeah.
Trust me, this stuff is amazing. If you have not done, and I'm a big barbecue connoisseur. I cook on the grill. The biggest thing is it doesn't dry out your meats. That's the most important thing to me. It doesn't matter whether it's oven, doesn't matter if it's in a crock pot, doesn't matter if you boil it, it doesn't matter if you barbecue it, charcoal. And the best thing is the seasoning doesn't burn off. That's the worst, man. You get Lowry's or garlic salt, you put that on, it burns off. This stuff doesn't burn off. It stays. You got to knock it because it's a little humid, right? I mean, it's good quality seasoning. It's got some moisture in it. So you got to shake it up a little bit, and then sprinkle it on. Oh God, it's so good. That's it. I'm done. Now I'm hungry. Thanks a lot.
What's it called? Northern Spice Company?
Yeah, Olivia's going to send you the link.
I'm going to Google it.
Olivia,
right
can
now.
you put it in a text?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have it? Right. Can you put it? Oh, here, I'll put it in our chat. Hold on.
Thank you. I'm just Googling it, so I remember Northern Spice.
It's so damn good. Like, I'm thinking this is going to be for Christmas.
Yeah.
Northern Spice Company. There it is. Go take a look. It's so good. Listen, it's got the Matt seal of approval, right? All right, here it is. Chuck Todd, we got to do this. Come on, let's go.
Happy Friday. Welcome to Meet the Press Now. I'm Chuck Todd reporting from Washington, and we begin today with multiple breaking developments on legal cases that have significant political implications for the 2024 race for president. In an unexpected, but also perhaps, in hindsight, inevitable move today, Attorney General Merrick Garland announced the appointment of U.S. Attorney David Weiss to now serve as a special counsel to oversee the Justice Department's ongoing investigation into President Biden's son, Hunter Biden.
On Tuesday of this week, Mr. Weiss advised me that in his judgment, his investigation had reached a stage at which he should continue his work as a special counsel, and he asked to be so appointed. Upon considering his request, as well as the extraordinary circumstances relating to this matter, I have concluded that it is in the public interest to appoint him as special counsel.
And just moments after that announcement from the Attorney General, Weiss's team revealed in a court filing that plea negotiations with Hunter Biden's lawyers over tax and gun charges had fallen apart and that they expect the case to go to trial now. The White House says it was not given advance notice of today's announcement. Weiss, who was appointed U.S. Attorney in Delaware by Donald Trump, is now one of 3 special counsels that have been appointed by Merrick Garland. That includes a special counsel named Robert Hur, who obviously is somebody you don't hear a lot from. He was the one that was appointed to investigate President Biden's handling of classified documents. In fact, NBC News was first to report earlier today that attorneys for President Biden are actually in talks with federal prosecutors and Mr. Hur over the idea and the terms of an interview with the president. All of these developments come as lawyers for Donald Trump and federal prosecutors working for another special counsel, Jack Smith, were in court today. The judge ruled that a protective order limiting what the former president can say about evidence can only apply to what she called sensitive materials, not all materials. And it'll be up to the Justice Department to decide those sensitive materials. And while right now the courtroom may be the most important venue in the fight for the Republican nomination, Trump's Republican rivals are fighting it out in what is traditionally ground zero in the fight for a primary campaign for president, the Iowa State Fair, where they are meeting and greeting and eating with voters all over the place. So,
all right. So let me take the lead on this one first, if that's okay with everybody.
Yes.
First of all, special counsel is supposed to be signed to be a private citizen or somebody who's not attached to the government. This guy's a state's attorney. It's a conflict of interest in that aspect. So Republicans are obviously up in arms about that. However, Republicans actually requested that he get special counsel privileges so he can stop working on Delaware State's attorney's role and actually move into the special counsel. Gives him special privileges, special subpoena powers, a certain amount of funding that he doesn't actually have to line veto every single or line item, every single expense that he has. It gives him carte blanche to actually authorize and ask for records that are could be classified or could be under some sort of protective status, medical records, income tax records, these type of things. The Republicans, I want to make this clear, asked for Weiss to be special counsel. I want to make that clear. Republicans, once again, asked for Weiss to be special counsel. He then requested it. When people say it's a conflict of interest, well, he was already doing the investigation in Delaware anyway. Was Trump appointed? All Merrick Garland is doing is expanding his responsibility. So here's the problem. If you, as a Republican, say, well, that's not okay, that sucks. Well, first of all, why are Republicans nominating it? Well, of course, all Republicans are going to say, well, it's because they're the uniparty and Mitch McConnell's spineless. But, okay. All right. You can't have a cake and eat it too. Either you trust Trump's appointment or you don't. Either you trust the fact that they want this to actually go to trial, and it is going to trial, and there's nothing that's showing that it's not. This plea deal fell through. Everything's proceeding like it is going to trial. It is going to create discovery. It is going to actually open up the records for Biden and his personal finances. It's going to change a lot of things. This is going to open up quite a few duck hunting opportunities. The thing is, you have to ask yourself, Did you want somebody else from starting from scratch and put this up for another 2.5 years? Or did you want this to literally fire off in the middle of the election season? I know which one I want. I want this to be front and center, literally on top of Donald Trump shit every single day. I want this talked about every minute of the day. The media is picking up on this. They are now accepting the Hunter Biden story. MSNBC, CNN, Chuck Todd just did something he's never done, which is acknowledge that this is going to fire off. It's going to go to trial. It's going to be ugly. It's going to be messy. And this is not going to look good for Joe Biden. The left is actually up more in arms about this than the right. The people on the right are, but you, me, and the citizens and the actual constituents and members of the Republican Party seem to be more upset about this. So the question is, what would have been acceptable to you? Am I saying this is exactly what I want? No, but I don't want this to start 2.5 years from now as we assign a new special counsel. This was already established in 2018, folks. This has been going on for 5 freaking years. We're just getting somewhere now, and now you want to pop smoke and start over? I don't. So people can say they'll make the charges disappear. I don't care. As long as this is in the news every single day until the election and to counteract what they're doing to Trump and until they are in a situation where they have to put Hunter Biden on the stand. Can you imagine that, having your son on the stand, acknowledging the laptop, lending credence to all the things that the Republicans have said? It's going to make a switch in the libertarians' head and the middle of the road's head, where they're going to say, wait a second, if they were right about Hunter Biden's laptop, if they were right about this, if they were right about that, if they were right about this, and holy shit, what else are they right about? Are they right about the election? Are they right about January 6th? You're going to create doubt, and it's going to weaken an already weak, horribly weak president. Bidenomics is not working. They're ready to dump this. They're moving and switching gears out of this. They're now in deflection mode and bringing it back to Trump. And honestly, Trump's ratings are going up like I told you they would. Don't you remember when you guys all said, let's impeach Biden? And I said, fucking no. Do not impeach Biden. If you impeach Biden, you're going to give him a bump in the polls. Guess what? We didn't impeach him. Don't. Because Trump is skyrocketing. Biden is plateauing. And it's just going to get worse because gas prices are going up. Real estate's not getting any better. The Fed isn't going to be able to stop inflation much, or they're going to have to increase it to 10% interest rates. Folks, this is all going to come crashing down. And I don't want those things to happen, but it's inevitable. So we might as well go ahead and do it. It's going to torpedo Biden's presidency. Why anyone wants to start from scratch, I don't understand. Amy, do you have an opinion? Then we'll go to Olivia.
I hate saying that. Do I look blurry? And excluded. I hate saying that.
Real quick, when people say that Weiss put together the sweetheart deal, no, that was his attorneys.
Yeah.
Okay, there's a very big difference. And that deal did not go through based upon the judge. Now, you can say whatever you want, but now there's scrutiny here. The plea deal has been stricken. It has fallen apart. They are going to trial. There is no deal. And now, even if they're going to go ahead and play grab ass and give Weiss the actual power to do special counsel to protect him, well, he's under scrutiny now. Everything he does as special counsel can be subpoenaed. It can be oversought by the Senate Oversight Committee. This has House powers that they can watch over him. This isn't just Merrick Garland. Merrick Garland has to recuse himself and get hands off of this. In no way, shape, or form can this special counsel report to Merrick Garland. Now, you might say, Matt, that's naive. Folks, once again, you either trust the law or you don't. And if you don't trust the law, then why are you complaining? If it's all a kangaroo court, then why do you care? Because you don't believe that. And you know that at some point, there's going to have to be a boiling point, because you're seeing it with Trump. If you truly believe Trump is innocent, you truly believe that they're going to continue to do this witch hunt, then you have to understand that that's going to reciprocate onto the left at some point. They're going to have to pay the piper. And it's either going to be with Hunter or Joe, or a massive amount of cases that are going to come after Joe Biden the same. They opened up Pandora's box, and you think it can be contained? I don't think you're giving enough credit to the overall hatred that the Republicans have for this machine that's taking place in Washington. And the left have the same hatred for us. Imagine the amount of fervor that you're going to see from the right when Joe Biden leaves office. This, in my opinion, isn't a bad thing, but you can decide whatever you want. Amy, go ahead.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I think it's a good thing. You want the best representation on both sides, because then you know that whatever the outcome is going to be accurate and just. If you don't have someone good on both sides, then if you win on whatever side you're on, is it really a win? You need to present all the evidence as much as possible, paint the best picture, and that way you can come out and say, yeah, we were right the whole time. I think it's a good thing.
I want to touch on one thing somebody just said, and Rick Shoemaker makes some good points, and he's on here quite a bit. He says, Democrats are wanting to change the ticket. This is why Garland is allowing the special counsel. Biden will be removed from the ticket, and they'll bring in another candidate during the primary process. Rick, it doesn't need to be that complicated.
Yeah.
This is how it works. The president of the United States is responsible for the governors of the states. He's not the president of the people. And people say that all the time. That's bullshit. President of the people are the governors of the states. President of the United States is only held culpable to the states, not the people. It's the Electoral College. So the only people the president is beholden to truly is the DNC or the RNC, his political party.
Make me happy.
That's okay. We were talking about Biden. It's fitting.
So
understand this. The RNC or DNC decides if the incumbent gets to go. All they got to do is say, Joe Biden, we're taking the money that we were going to give for you for a re-election campaign and we're putting it into a Democratic candidate. And we're going to primary your ass. That's all they got to do. This is not complicated. If they don't want him to run, they won't have him run. So do I believe that Gavin Newsom is being groomed in the background and literally shadowing Joe Biden in case something horrible happens to him or he just can't do the job? Yeah, of course. It's the same thing that DeSantis is doing. DeSantis is literally running because the RNC told him to. I told you this was going to happen. I told every single person that DeSantis was going to be waiting in the wings behind Donald Trump to see what happened with the legalese. And I told you Gavin Newsom was going to do the same thing for Joe Biden. Why are you guys so surprised? Why do you get shocked? Either you watch the show or you don't. If you do, you know this stuff. If you don't, you don't. Folks, this is not checkers. This is chess. Stop thinking that Joe Biden gets to decide if he runs for president or not. It's the DNC, it's the donors, it's the people who run the political parties. They decide. And if they don't believe that Joe Biden can win, they will pop smoke on Joe Biden faster than you can say corn pop. Okay, good. Olivia, do you have an opinion?
Not really. Like I said, I didn't get to really dive into the articles, but I mean, I agree with you 100%. I'm totally cool with this being in the forefront of the news, and the fact that some of the left are actually reporting it is a good thing.
Yeah, it is.
I just hope they report it fairly and not make Hunter Biden look like he's innocent and whiter than the driven snow.
Yeah,
and then bring
well
up
the
Trump.
cocaine whiter than the driven
That's
cocaine.
whiter than driven cocaine. Yeah, and and then bring up Trump the whole time. So it's like let's try and keep it on the narrative, not focus it away.
The only thing I will say, and I will just, an incumbent president is the best home court advantage in politics if his coattails are strong. If they're not, it destroys the down ticket. So if he does not have strong coattails, they will absolutely do the same thing that they did to George Bush Sr. They will do the same thing that we anticipate them doing to Joe Biden that they did to Jimmy Carter. So the DNC decides who runs. That's it, plain and simple. Now, Joe Biden, I want you all to remember, he has this document scandal thing. I don't believe, this is my opinion, and I'm just going to tell you right now, I think Georgia is nothing for Trump. This whole thing about stealing the votes, that thing's going to die off. They wanted to make that stick because of Stacey Abrams and the Kemp thing, but now that Kemp came out and supported Trump and didn't speak negatively again, that thing's going to die, okay? The document scandal, they're not going to hang Trump with that because if they hang Trump with that, they got to hang Biden with it. And the Democratic Party doesn't want to carry that into 2026 and 2028. So just Hear me out when I say it. They don't want to carry it in the 2026 and 2028. They've got what they wanted from the document scandal from Trump, and I can't imagine it's going to be that serious. I really don't. Because Biden's going to get crushed too. Then they're going to have to go after Obama. Then they're going to have to go after Pence and every other. They'll also have to go after Bob Dole. They'll have to go after the Clintons. They'll have to go after Reagan because all the presidential libraries have this opportunity. So I don't see anything of that. The biggest thing you got is January 6th because the public doesn't give a shit. But the public also believes that although it's political, that Donald Trump had some culpability in January 6th. So this is their big thing. They want to make January 6th in November. They want people to think about the democracy that's going to fail and the insurrection and the coup d'etat that had never had a chance to be a coup d'etat. This is the great white hope for the Democratic Party, that they can continue to milk this J6 and pop the 14th Amendment on Donald Trump so he can't run. That is what they're going to try to do. And I'm telling you, it's not going to succeed because it is a First Amendment process. He didn't pay off those electors. You can't put that on him. You can't tie it to him. Yes, you can go ahead and say they were working on his behalf and J6 was working on his behalf. But unless you actually have that paper trail that ties it to Donald Trump and him specifically giving that order with the intent to defraud the government, you're screwed. You're going to get him on obstruction. It's going to be a fine. He's not going to jail and he's going to be able to run for president. The Democrats are going to do whatever they can to make that happen. So what we need to do is have the same amount of dirt flinging going on Joe Biden. It's the Hillary Clinton two-step, folks. The reason why she lost was the drip, 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 and the big climax at the end for Comey. We need the same exact thing for Donald Trump. This election is going to be the most impossible to decide quagmire of a fucked up as Hogan's goat scenario. This election is going to be a pile of shit. I'm telling you right now. You've got Joe Biden, who's on the precipice of literally moving into la-la land mentally. His poll numbers are atrocious. They have nobody to back him up but Gavin Newsom, who's about as popular as Kamala Harris, even though he was special elected out by enough people. He did have the exact same votes that he previously did. He has not gained. He has not lessened. But ultimately, California is a failure. Everyone's leaving California. He's going to have to run on that. It's not going to work. You've got Ron DeSantis, who literally has 65 to 70% of Trump supporters saying that he is a Soros stooge and they won't run for him, burning down his party and every candidate that's even in the Republican primary. You've got literally another 50% of Republicans and Democrats and moderates who are saying they'll never vote for Trump no matter what. And then you got Kamala frickin' Harris. And then you have, who do you pick for vice president for Republicans? After Trump and DeSantis have literally blown everybody out of the water and tried to destroy them with credibility and called them weak and feckless. And then you're going to what? Pull a Kamala where she called Joe Biden a racist and he buses kids to school and then pick him as a black woman as your vice president? Folks, this is going to be a joke. This is going to be the funniest Chinese fire drill of an election I have ever seen in my life. And just wait, it's going to be awesome. We're going to cover the whole damn thing. Anybody else want to chime in?
No.
I knew you would take this topic
Not at all.
with it.
And I don't mean to be like rushing, but I probably should go.
We love you.
My daughter needs me.
I say
sorry.
go. I say go. Get out of here. We love you. Bye. Bye. Say bye-bye.
Love
Bye.
you guys. Sorry. I gotta go.
Don't be sorry.
Bye.
We love you. Bye. So that's, folks, this is going to be insane. It's going to be absolutely insane. There's going to be no method to this. Anything can happen. You've got document scandals. You've got J6. You've got corruption. You've got China. What if China goes into Taiwan? Do you think the American people are going to be interested to see if Joe Biden took money from China? I don't know. They seemed interested with Russia. Don't you remember when Russia and Ukraine fired off and everybody said, did he take money from Russia? Is he really Putin's puppet? You've got every news media station denying the laptop, denying that there's any corruption, that Joe Biden is clean as driven snow. They've stood by him. And you're starting to hear the truth out. It's only a matter of time. You need to just stick around. This is going to be fun. All right? Liv, final words. You got your minute. Don't say you're going to wave off. Give us your minute. Go.
Ooh, we got 3 more subscribers on YouTube.
How are we doing on Rumble?
That's 1.01K. So what is that like?
I don't know.
Oh,
and by the way, there's a new variant in New York and they're talking about lockdowns. So this is just in time, folks. It's
seriously.
Yeah, just it's going to be a great election season. I'm excited. Olivia, what else you got? Anything?
Nope. It was a long week, and
All
I'm
right.
ready to chill.
She's ready to go. We're gonna go play Diablo. We're gonna go watch some baseball, folks. Thanks for watching the Don't Unfriend Me show. Remember, it is Red Friday. 22 veterans a day commit suicide. It's way too many. Please do me a favor. Reach out to a veteran as soon as you possibly can. We will go out like we always do. Stop by the DUM Show, thedumshow.com. Pick yourself up a hat, a T-shirt, a cool mug, something awesome. We've got some great stuff over there, including the Try It in a Small Town shirt. I'm coming out with a couple more shirts. I'll have those designed over the weekend. Thanks for watching the Don't Unfriend Me show. We will see you folks Monday with a new recorded show and a new live show. It's the weekend, man. It's Friday. Do we have a Friday song?
No, we need to get that.
Can we? I wonder if we can do.
Friday,
Here, I can just do that.
Fuck this shit, I'm out. Fuck this shit, I'm out. No thanks. Don't mind me. I'ma just grab my stuff and leave. Excuse me, please. Fuck this shit, I'm out. Nope. Fuck this shit, I'm out. Alright then. I don't know what the fuck just happened, but I don't really care. I'ma get the fuck up out of here. Fuck this shit, I'm out.
Good night, everybody. Thanks for watching the Don't Unfriend Me show. We will see you next time. Have a good weekend. We'll see you soon.
Night.
Night. Bye. Maybe. See ya later. Now and gone.
I'm David Boreanaz with the Cast of SEAL team, and we have an important message for returning vets.
We want you to know if you're struggling to cope, there's help and it's just a phone call away.
The Veterans Crisis Line is staffed with experienced professionals who know your struggles.
There's no greater sacrifice in service.
Oh,
to
yeah.
our
Leave me your
country.
feedback on the format. Let me know what you guys think. Thanks.
Your service is important. You are important.
For vets and their families, the Veterans Crisis Line is here to help 24 hours a day. Please call